mean practically? It means that if you're concerned about collapse, whether from currency failure, energy shocks, climate disruption, or institutional breakdown, your preparation should be structured, not merely stockpiled. Consider, do you know the people in your immediate geographic community? Do you have relationships that could function as barter networks? Do you possess skills that would have value if the exchange assumption broke? Consider, is your household entirely dependent on external supply chains for food, energy, medicine? What happens if the trucks stop coming for 30 days? Consider, are you in debt? Because debt is a claim on your future production, and in a crisis, that claim becomes a leash. The Amish prohibition on debt is not moral posturing. It's structural resilience. Consider, can you fix things, build things, grow things? Because in a fractured system, these skills become the true currency. The pattern here is not new. Every complex society in history has faced moments where the exchange assumption failed. The Roman Empire in its final centuries, the late Bronze Age collapse, the fall of the Mayan city-states, the post-plague economy of the 14th century. In each case, wealth stored in monetary form became less valuable than wealth stored in productive capacity. In each case, the people who survived best were not the wealthiest, but the most structurally resilient. In each case, there was no warning that allowed for last-minute adaptation. There's a study, informal but consistent, of what happened to gold holders during the worst collapses. In Cambodia under the Khmer Rouge, gold could not protect you. The regime targeted anyone with visible wealth. Hiding gold was possible, using it was not. In war zones, gold is often more dangerous than useful. It attracts violence. It marks you as a target. It cannot be used openly without risk. In grid-down scenarios, localized blackouts, regional disasters, gold is irrelevant. The immediate need is water, food, shelter, medical care. No one is trading gold for water bottles. They're trading skills, labor, and real goods. This is not to say gold has no role. It is to say gold is optimized for one type of failure, monetary failure within a functioning system. It is not optimized for systemic failure. And if you're diversifying your risk, you should diversify your hedges. The question becomes, what else should you hold? And the answer is uncomfortable because it's not a product. Hold skills. Hold community. Hold productive capacity. Hold local relationships. Hold land that can produce. Hold tools that can build. Hold knowledge that can heal. These are not investments. They don't appear on a balance sheet. They can't be liquidated. But they're the assets that survive when the exchange assumption breaks. Let me tell you about a community in rural Pennsylvania, not Amish, but influenced by them. They're modern people. They use technology. They participate in the regular economy. But they've built redundancy. Most households grow some food. Several neighbors have skills in medical care. There are mechanics, welders, carpenters. They know each other. They've organized informal mutual aid agreements. They're not preppers in the bunker sense. They're not hoarding gold or ammunition. They've simply, deliberately, weakened their dependence on the exchange assumption. They've built a partial Amish hedge. It took years. It took effort. It took learning skills that modern life discourages. But if the trucks stop coming, if the grid fails, if the currency collapses, if the supply chains fracture, they will not be standing in a pharmacy with gold coins and nothing to buy. They'll be producing, exchanging, and surviving on the basis of capacity rather than claims. There's a final point worth making. The Amish hedge is not just about collapse, it's about quality of life. Amish communities report higher life satisfaction than average Americans. They have stronger social bonds. They have more meaningful work. They have less anxiety. Building local production capacity, diversified skills, and thick social networks doesn't just protect against systemic failure. It provides something that gold cannot, a different way of living, a way that doesn't depend on the assumption that someone else, somewhere else, will always provide what you need, a way that produces as much as it consumes, a way that doesn't require the exchange assumption to hold at all times. This is historical and educational analysis, not financial or investment advice. Gold is a hedge. It's a good hedge against monetary failure. It is not a complete hedge against systemic failure. And the financial prepper narrative, overwhelmingly funded by people who profit from gold sales, has given you an incomplete picture. The complete picture includes the Amish hedge. It includes skills, community, local production, minimal debt, and the deliberate weakening of dependence on external systems. These cannot be purchased quickly. They cannot be stored in a vault. They must be built over time. And if you wait until you need them, it will already be too late. That's the trap. That's the constraint. That's the pattern. The question isn't whether the exchange assumption will break. History says it always does, eventually, somewhere. The question is whether, when it breaks, you'll be holding a token or holding the capacity to produce. The Amish made their choice generations ago. They've never regretted it. The pattern is already in motion. This channel exists to study the systems before they fail. If this lens was useful, subscribe. Most people never see these patterns until the shelf is empty and the gold is useless.